Okay, let's make sure we're recording. Yeah, we're recording. Okay. Oh man, it's early in the morning. Oh, this is Earl. I've got valuable information for y'all. So you can do a rear wheel alignment the correct way on your Harley. Because what you're seeing on the internet is like I told y'all about hydraulic lifters in one of my videos and about the twin cam engines, myths and absolute lies and scams. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all the correct way to align the rear wheel on a motorcycle. Now, this video, I'm a Softail man, a Harley Softail man. I like Softails. I don't like single swing arms, okay? So I'm going to tell y'all the right way to adjust the rear wheel on a Softail Harley Davidson. You know, it can be a fat boy. I have a 97 fat boy. There's a video on my channel of that. I also have my Softail Custom. It's a 2002 model Softail. You can watch that video. Okay, I do all of my own work, no matter what it is, and I'll tell you why I do. Because I have the tools, number one, all of the tools. Okay? I am a machinist, but not a shop machinist. I am a industrial machinist. I work for high drill, subsea, oil equipment. Okay, I'm an engineer in measurements, calibrations, and how things work. And that way, you know, when I see something on the internet that doesn't make it right, listen, I'm slow, but it's to be distinct. And so you understand how to do something the right way. On these Softails, you will watch videos all over the internet, and it will be how to line up your rear axle bolt. Okay. It will have, okay, a guy, he will pull out this rod. It's a wire about the thickness of coat hanger wire. And it will have a small O-ring or a piece of metal on it, and he will put one end that has a 90-degree turn in it on the frame bolt. The frame bolt, where both the swing arm tubes bolt to the motorcycle frame. They will measure to those points. Okay, to the axle bolt, and it will be about a 2-foot gadget or whatever. Don't do that. That is stupid, stupid, stupid. And that's not how a proper measurement is done. And I'll tell you why. Because when those swing arms are bolted to those motorcycles, whether it's a single swing arm or a double, okay, like a Softail, okay, you've got bushings, okay, and then the bolt goes through that. Those will have, when those are sitting on their side stand, up to 1/8 inch, they will be off scale. You know, which will correct itself usually when you get on the motorcycle and you start riding it. Okay, after a motorcycle has been owned for a while and used, it will develop, probably within riding it 5,000 miles, it will develop a good quarter inch in difference. And you shouldn't measure it not only because of that, but because it's ignorant. It's not machine true. It's not machine accurate. Because, see, you're measuring from the middle of the bolt on both sides where that swing arm bolts to that frame, close to the middle of that motorcycle. Okay. All right. The bolt, center of the bolt isn't going to give you trueness because what the hole, the engineering of the swing arm, where you have a hole for the bolt to incorporate into, has the bushing inside of it, is not going to totally agree with that bolt. It's stupid. Don't do this anymore. Your actual machine true locations are within only 5 inches from the very back of that swing arm where you have the oval hole where the axle goes through. Those areas right there are the only true source of true measured entity there. So all you need, okay, is to measure from, like, I'll show you the points to measure from. The points you measure from, like on the back of a Softail, there is the center of your axle. Okay, right here, you have the thick washer that has the notch in it for your adjuster bolt, right there. Okay, and then behind that, you have a piece of metal that goes between the A design, a piece of metal right here, okay, that the bolt, adjuster bolt, screws into that to this thick washer with the notch in it right here. And then there's the head of the bolt, okay? Y'all following me? Okay, and the shape of this, you know, like this is off my Softail that I'm working on right now, my Softail Custom. You know, is like this. Here's one of the covers. You know, this would be, you know, okay, right here. Wait, we've got to get it right where it's not backwards in the camera. See, that's the back, right there. And then you have your 2 frame tubes, see, coming up from this area right here. Okay. I don't know if that's coming in clear or whatever. My camera sucks, okay? Okay, but here's what you want to do. You want to get your adjustment measured correctly. Okay, here's the end of the adjuster bolt, the head. Okay, where this piece of metal is that it screws into, you want to get your measurement, you want to go from where the threads start coming out, this piece of metal, to the notch, right there. That's what you want to do. You match those on both sides. Your alignment will be more true than if you measure it from the center of the axle bolt to where the swing arm bolts to the frame of the motorcycle. It will be a better measurement. So actually, what you're doing here, you're not using the center of the axle bolt at all. You're not going to use it. See, which is right here, the center of the axle bolt would be right here where my finger is, through the thick washer with the notch in it. You're going to measure from that notch, this notch, to where the bolt thread is starts in this piece of metal right here that goes to the top tube and to the bottom tube. Those are machine perfect. Machine perfect. Because both sides are identical. Alright, so what you want to do, you want to get the jack one up off the ground, and you don't need a motorcycle jack. All you need is a 2-ton floor jack. You know, it's got the metal wheels, 4 metal wheels on it, that you buy at AutoZone for $50. You know, that's all you need. You know, they're about, I don't know, 2 foot long, and they're low to the ground. Okay, leave the bike on its side stand even. Okay, under the back of the frame where you jack them up, okay, or raise them up, the piece of metal that's in front of the back tire, you have strong metal in that area. Okay, jack up the outer side and raise the back wheel about 6 inches above the ground, or really you only need 1 inch above the ground, to where you can turn the wheel by hand. You know, with the bike in neutral, you can turn the wheel by hand. Alright, get your belt tension right on the left side first. Okay, that's what you want to do, and of course you'll have your axle bolt loose. Get your belt tension on the left right first. Okay? Alright, now once you achieve your belt tension on the left side for your bike, the scheme next for alignment, you want to match the right side to what the left side is. Okay, and there's several ways you can do this. Okay. You can mechanically do this, or you can electronically do this. You can get a digital slide rule meter for $8 on eBay. That's where I ordered the last couple that I have. You know, it's got a slide. You can do an OD measurement or an ID. ID stands for inner diameter. OD stands for outer diameter. Okay, what I do is use the ID diameter, which is the shorter blades, you know, and then the ruler, you know, let's call it ruler so people understand. These slide back and forth like this. Okay, what you want to do on these is you want to, on this, put one of the blades in the notch. Okay, right here on the left side where you adjusted the belt, and then the other claw will sit on this piece of metal in the middle of the threaded bolt, right on the outside of it where the metal is, right there, right in there. Alright, whatever reading you get, it doesn't matter. Write those numbers down, and then go to the right side and turn that adjuster bolt in until you get the same reading that you got for the same area. See, like, okay, let me get my finger in here. From this notch in your thick washer, where the adjuster bolt nipple goes into, to the outside of the threaded part where this piece of metal is that goes to the top tube and the bottom tube. Okay? When you do that, both sides are going to be identical. They're going to be identical. Because this is based on a calibrated, pre-measured, accurate assembly here. See, this right in here. Now, after I do mine with a micrometer in that fashion that I'm talking about, here's how I check out what would be my mechanical adjustment. You can do this mechanically, actually. Like, okay, here's what I will do. Okay, here's a bolt with 2 nuts and a small washer, 19/16 nuts. Alright, after I adjusted my belt tension on my O2 Softail and my 97 Fat Boy, here's the method that I used. On the Fat Boy, okay, let me show y'all what area of measure I'm talking about. Now, this is just a mechanical. If you don't have the part of the bolt that extends outward to what would be the head of the bolt. Okay, make sure both your adjusting bolts are the same length. That's the first thing, okay? Make sure they're the same length on both sides. Both of my Softails, those are the same length. Okay, what I did in that area where the bolt protrudes, let me point it out again, okay? Where the bolt protrudes right here, see, like here's the axle, and then here's the piece of metal between the swing arm tubes, and there's your thread, and here's the head of the adjuster bolt, you know, that you adjust it with. Okay, this area, let me get my finger in the right place, right here, okay, alright. On my Fat Boy, I just took this 9/16 nut and set in there between the inner part of the head of the bolt and where the metal is, where it screws into. Okay, and I could go click, 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 click on the right side. So then, or the left side, I mean, where I adjusted the belt. Then I took a blade type, old school gap gauge. You know, they have the blades. And I just kept adding different blades until there was I couldn't wiggle it back and forth anymore. Okay? Inside that area. Okay, then I went to the right side and I matched that to the left side. So, and I put this in here, and on my Softail, let's see, where did that go? Okay, I added, it went click, click, back and forth. I just added a chrome washer I had, a thin one. And it turned out that was a snug fit on the left side. So I went over to the right side, and it was also a snug fit there, where I had adjusted it with my micrometer earlier. So that would be a mechanical adjustment right there, you know, which is accurate. I seem to have lost the washer I had on that bolt. I got so much stuff here. Oh, here it is. Here's that washer I was talking about. Or you could just start stacking washers, and when you get almost to the end, then use clearance, you know, gap setting blades, you know, to throw in there to where it's a snug fit, and then check it, make the right side match the left side. See, is how you do it. And again, let me explain this. Okay, right here, see, you see the head of the bolt, the threads, then the metal where it screws into that protrudes from the piece of metal right here that goes between your swing arm tubes. And what you want to do, that clearance in there needs to match, the right side needs to match the left side after you get your belt tension right, okay? And then your micrometer, adjustment with your ID blades needs to go between this piece of metal that protrudes, where the threads start, to the inside of the notch where the nipple of the bolt is resting. And the right side needs to match what the digital numbers say on the micrometer from the left side. Okay? That's how that's done. A proper alignment, you don't need to. Here's something an engineer knows that a mechanic doesn't know. I don't need to deal with the center of my axle bolt at all. I don't have to, because see, that's not where the true fixed measures are. That's not where they are. That's the center of a bolt. Sure, that's fine. But see, it's the mechanical part. See, the thick washer with the notch in it for the adjuster bolt, that fits on the axle to where there's no play in it. And it is a part that is machine true. It's machine true. Okay, and so you want to measure the ID measure from the inside of the knot with the adjuster bolt in it, with the adjuster, see, just the outside of the bolt, where the notch is, to where the metal starts, where the threads start coming out. That area right there. You want to get an identical reading, the right side must match the left side where the belt is tightened, okay? And then the gap behind the metal, okay, here is what my Softail came up with. This washer and this nut is what I wound up on the left side where I adjusted. I matched the right to that. It's perfect. It's perfect. That is the accurate thing. See, people that are using these wire, people even order them online. It's called the alignment tool for rear axles on motorcycles. Actually, that is not, a mechanic will use that. But a machinist is going to go by that formed area back there that has pre-measured and accurate measurements that I'm telling you about. That is the right way to do it. Now, the thing to do before you work on these, take your adjuster bolts completely out and make sure they are the same length. They're supposed to be the same length on these Softails. Mine are on both my Softails, and they're the original adjuster bolts. And don't use measuring the center of the axle to where that the swing arm bolts of the frame. Don't do that. It's stupid, because the bolt, you're going to the center of that, but then you figure the bushing that rides on the bolt, where it bolts together, is not going to be totally accurate. You see? So it's a waste of time. You're not going to get a good reading there. But if the general rule of thumb, if the nipple of the adjuster bolts is all the way in the thick spacer that I'm telling you about, if that gap I showed you to where I used on my 02 Softail this washer and this 9/16 inch nut, okay, that is going to be the same on both sides. You can count the threads, but the best accuracy is going to be the distance to that inside of that bolt head and where that metal is, where those threads go into, that right there. If you match the right to the left, your motorcycle will have a better alignment than any of these tech shops. You will have a better alignment. Okay, and here's something I noticed Doc Harley did. On one, he didn't use the long alignment tool. What he did, he used a calibrated L shape that was only about 3 inches long, working from that same area I'm telling y'all about. You know, so doing the same thing I'm telling y'all about right now. But being I'm a machinist and know how things are put together and know how to measure this stuff, you know, with micrometer, OD and ID, you know, I know the points of reference to use to get this stuff accurate. But anyway, I hope I've helped y'all. I do hope I've helped y'all. And I hope y'all are having a great day. Now, how do I turn this off? Stop.